2011 RPM adventure is underway. After departing from Nelspruit, our convoy of 10 Continental shod SUVs carried industry PR people and the RPM crew across the Swaziland border on 2 days of driving through some of Southern Africa's most spectacular scenery. We've had a closer look at the first two cars in our lineup, the Ford Everest and the Suzuki Grand Vitara. Now, the Land Rover Freelander 2. Undoubtedly one of the classiest SUVs on the market, the Freelander has had to overcome the infamous reputation of its not-too-popular predecessor. It carries trademark Land Rover styling cues, the two-bar grille, the gills on the side, and the unmistakable rear lights. This is a car with presence, and with Land Rover's Go Anywhere legacy, it's one of the most desirable SUVs in our adventure fleet.
The original Land Rover Freelander was not one of our favourite SUVs. It really tried to trade on the Land Rover name, but it didn't have the competence that badge deserves. The Freelander 2, a completely different kettle of fish. Very competent on and off the road, quite a bit larger. Certainly a lovely vehicle to drive in a mix of conditions, which is what we've subjected it to here. It is a 2.2 litre turbo diesel engine called the SD4, and the only problem we have with it is a little bit of lag low down in the rev range. But while the engine is less than perfect, the same can't be said for the plush interior. Leather seats and real wood trim combine with creature comforts like sat-nav and touchscreen operation to keep even the most discerning drivers happy. The Freelander comes standard with Land Rover's terrain response system. However, no low-range transfer case means that it's happy in rough stuff, but it may not take you to the ends of the earth.
Next up, one of the cars you probably won't see near a dirt road anytime soon, the Volvo XC60. Sweden's contribution to this end of the market is more of a crossover than a true SUV, although it does have the size and enough off-road ability to mix it up with the rest of the adventure fleet. With its typical Volvo-esque styling, the XC60 isn't something that will appeal to everyone, but it does have a certain charm, and it is a very modern take on what the SUV should be. Out of all the cars in our RPM adventure, the Volvo XC60 is right up there to be voted least likely to succeed. It is an unashamed city slicker with all the luxury and the safety systems to match. But with all-wheel drive and decent ground clearances, it might just surprise more than a few people. Again, the beige interior, although this time the leather is offset by a shade of brown. The brushed aluminium accents give more weight to the argument that this car is happier on tar in traffic rather than out here sampling Africa's charms. The XC60 is a full-featured car crammed with luxury and powered by a 3-litre V6 turbo, good for 210 kilowatts and effortless driving, no matter if you're within the confines of civilization or not.
The second Japanese member of the RPM adventure is the Nissan X-Trail. Powered by a 110 kilowatt 2-litre turbo diesel, it's a capable vehicle in these conditions, albeit one with looks that take a bit of getting used to. This new generation X-Trail is right up to speed with some of the latest trends on the road today, including LED lighting elements both front and rear. It's a tall car and can look ungainly from some angles, although once on the move it has an almost commanding presence, especially out on the dirt. It's easy to underestimate the Nissan X-Trail. For a start, it doesn't look that different from the previous vehicle, even though it has grown in size and even though it has a lot of new sheet metal. Also, the diesel engine is perhaps not the latest, but it's certainly a very competent drivetrain, and it works particularly well with the all-wheel drive system. With intelligent four-wheel drive, the X-Trail can determine the best drive setup for the conditions, varying power to the front and rear axles or locking the center diff. Where the X-Trail does shine is inside. The spacious interior is fitted with leather-heated seats and a host of electronic comforts like Bluetooth connectivity. There's also an array of clever storage spots for both large and small items, and the boot is cavernous. On-road, the turbo diesel X-Trail has a rather unsubtle motor, but the drive is helped somewhat by a commanding position behind the wheel. ABS with brake assist and EBD are standard. So we've covered 5 of the cars on this year's RPM adventure, and we've also shown you some of the spectacular Swaziland scenery, but of course that isn't quite the end of it.
Nope, next week we've got more cars, more driving and some more beautiful scenery on the RPM adventure. Next week we'll be taking a closer look at the Audi Q7, Kia Sportage, Honda CR-V and Isuzu KB, as well as seeing how our long-term Renault Koleos fared out in Africa. Join us then.